goal in a toxic work environment isn't to fix it, but to outgrow it without letting it break you first. Sounds messed up, right? Because toxic cultures don't just drain your energy. They quietly erode your focus, your confidence, your judgment, right? So if you are trying to stay sharp, stay sane, stay strategic, these are the moves that matter the most. Welcome to the Human Edge, where you master your mind, you strengthen your life, and build the confidence to perform at your best. Hi, I'm Jennifer Rist. I'm a human performance strategist and the creator of the CLEAR method. So let's talk about concise and tactical human edge moves when you are in a toxic environment. Tip number 1 is stop participating emotionally. Start observing strategically. So the move here is treat the environment like a system, not a personal referendum. So instead of asking yourself, why are they doing this to me, and becoming a victim, right? We don't want that victim mindset anywhere near us. We want to ask ourselves, what behavior gets rewarded here, right? So we're observing. What is getting rewarded? So this creates distance, and distance restores your power. And why this works is observation shifts your brain out of that threat, that victim mode, and back into decision-making mode, which is where we want to be, right? Number 2 is control your attention like it's a scarce asset, because it is, and you know it. Your move here is to ruthlessly limit exposure to gossip, maybe Slack spirals or Teams pings all the time, right? Performative meetings, emotional dumping disguised as team culture or we're family, right? Stay away from all of that stuff. Your attention is your performance fuel. Don't let toxic people siphon it. The rule here is this: if it doesn't move decisions forward or protect your reputation, it doesn't get access to you. Tip number 3 is document quietly. Power moves are silent. The move here is you want to keep a private record of all patterns, decisions, shifting expectations, credit gaps, emails that are, really not what you would expect from certain people. Keep all of that in a private folder. And I would recommend keeping it off of your corporate laptop if it's from a job, and keep it somewhere private where it's your private information. If, God forbid you were to get laid off or fired or whatever, you have all of these records and information, especially if you need them. Not to necessarily escalate things, right? But to anchor reality. It's something that you can also look at and remind yourself of how people are and how you need to stay away from certain people in certain situations. And also, it's a great CYA, right? We want to cover ourselves, especially if we get pulled into the drama, even though we're not trying to get pulled into it. Oftentimes, we can't control that. If we have good sound documentation on some of the goings on within our team or within, our company or certain groups, it is really important to have good documentation. So gaslighting fails when facts are written down. So when you stick with the facts and you stay out of the emotions, that is where you would truly shine. So documentation, it turns chaos into leverage each and every time, because especially if you have some emails, time and date stamp, right, and who it's from, and it's right in front of you, right? So there's not much you could do to really manipulate that, but it is some factual information that may save you if you need it. Tip number 4 is redefine what winning actually means immediately. What does it mean to you? Stop trying to win approval in a broken system, right? Winning now means staying regulated, producing clean, credible work, protecting your credibility, preserving energy, and keeping your options open. And this prevents emotional depletion from triggered and rigged games, right? Because you are a professional. And just because people are acting unprofessional around you or toxic doesn't mean you need to follow suit and fall into their wheelhouse, right? But the more that you stay professional, your work is clean, it's credible, you're doing good things, right? You are showing everyone who you are as a person. So you never know if things change within your work environment. You get a new leader, you get a new manager, you move to a new team. You want to carry your own personal reputation. Don't let a toxic environment be the excuse why you are not doing credible and good work, right? The reality here is this, that you don't beat toxic systems by outperforming harder. You beat them by staying intact and staying true to you as a person and the professional that you are. Tip number 5 is build a psychological firewall. So pre-decide what does and what doesn't get access to you, right? Some examples could be, I don't take feedback from people who don't want me to succeed. And you know who those people are. And oftentimes, they're the people who are the nicest to you, right? Smile on your face and stab you in the back. We all have those people in our lives, right? Or we have people that seem to be very nice people that we become friendly with. But they're people that are in the behind the scenes situation, kind of like very needy. They need that pat on the back. They need you to always be supporting them, but they're not really supporting you in return, right? So you need to just be really present and be open-minded to some people that could be very good people, but sometimes your best interest is not their best interest, and they find ways very sneakily to get ahead and get around you because they get to know your strategies, right? So sometimes you need to keep some things to yourself. Not saying all nice people are bad people, but sometimes they are a bit fake, right? Also, those that I don't explain myself in unsafe spaces. So if you are in teams where people are a little too sharing of everyone's information, you may want to stay very to the point. Keep your personal information to yourself. I recommend that no matter what. Even if you are in a safe space, even if you have a lot of friends, sometimes keeping your personal information personal, it helps you a ton, because you never know when someone picks up on something little and takes something very personal and makes it part of a corporate situation. So I always say keep your personal life to yourself. Also, maybe you say to yourself, I don't emotionally engage with dysfunction. And that's really important. Sometimes it's tough to see. A lot of the times it's not. The drama queens or kings, the people that love, all of the drama, or people that are just like the sky's falling. There's always something wrong. They're the complainers. They're the ones who are gossiping, right? If they're gossiping to you about someone, they're gossiping about you to someone. Okay. So let's just call it like it is. Boundaries aren't emotional, but they are operational. Tip number 6 is create one domain where you fully control the outcome, right? Maintain at least one area of your life where your effort equals progress, your voice is intact, your growth is visible. This could be skill development, right? It could be thought leadership, strategic projects that you ask to be part of, or you find within your company or your role. Health or performance training, even if it's taking care of yourself, going to the gym, getting healthy, eating healthier, those type of things. Just one small thing, just to give yourself an internal win each and every day, even though you're living in this toxic environment. This keeps the environment from becoming your entire identity, right? So look to the things where you can control. Tip number 7 is don't confuse endurance with strength. Regularly ask yourself, is this environment sharpening me or slowly dulling me? And it's really important, because if you don't feel like you're growing and you're dying, that is a red flag. So staying too long in toxicity, it trains your nervous system to live in defense mode. And you don't want that, right? Leaving with clarity isn't quitting. It's self-command. And it's something that's sometimes necessary. But you want to have your head on straight, because the grass isn't always greener. I think many of you have probably been in situations where you were in one toxic environment and you took another role thinking it was going to be great, and it was just as bad or even worse from where you started, right? And you'd give anything to go back to your old role because this is even more toxic and more of a challenge, not in a good way. I've been there. I definitely have been there, actually twice in my career, where I took on a role. I thought that, the people were great and amazing, and it ended up being something I signed up for that I didn't know I was signing up for, because there was a lot of dishonesty and not trust there. So tip number 8 is stay future focused, not survival focused. So always maintain a forward narrative. Toxic environments, they shrink time, right? Just get through today. And you don't want to live your life like that. Human edge thinking expands it. It's the mindset of thinking, what am I building next, right? Even though you're in this horrible situation right now, what can you do today to get you to the next step? Or where do you want to go? What is next for you, right? Sometimes it's not always staying in that role or staying in that company, or maybe you want to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you want to do some, a side hustle or something that expands your creativity. That might be an option too, where you can kind of like start focusing all of your energy there. Not that you're not doing your job, but you're finding your joy somewhere else, right? A future focus prevents psychological captivity. So just some final thoughts here. Toxic environments don't just test your skills, but they test your identity, right? Saving your human edge isn't about being tougher. It's not. It's about being clearer, quieter, and more strategic than the chaos around you, and knowing what you want, knowing what you would want the future to hold for you, knowing your next step and working towards the things that you need and want, not getting caught up in all of this chaos, right? And if this helped, share it with someone who's trying to stay sharp in a system that isn't built to support them. And I hope you got something out of it. So please share, subscribe, and we will see you all next time, because the most powerful move in a toxic environment is leaving it stronger than you entered.